Thanks for joining us for this Huddle revival, resuscitating the time-honored Kansas City Star tradition with a little one-on-one, two-man weave today. Sam Mellinger on my left, Vahe Gregorian here. We're feeling kind of upbeat and chirpy because it's football season, Sam, and that is a multifaceted thing. Starting with, for our purposes, let's talk Chiefs a little bit, and we've had a couple. I'm still going to call them exhibition games, preseason games. That I know we both have similar feelings about. You just try to get through them, and we try not to get hurt covering them.
That's right.
Just like those guys on the field. Exactly.
Yeah.
Be fundamentally sound, hit deadlines, everything. What are we to make of what we're seeing so far, the Chiefs, and just in a broad scheme of things, I think we both see them as a playoff team, and they really shored up a lot of stuff. What were your biggest takeaways from Friday night against Seattle?
It was basically two things. I thought that the offensive line was so terrible, particularly that right side, as to make anything else on the offense irrelevant. I just don't know what you can make of it when you've got, your third string left guard or whatever is playing right tackle and tackling Jamal Charles in the open field on a screen pass. I just don't know.
I want you to go into more detail on that for a second, if you don't mind. I didn't get to look at a replay. How did he execute that? I really couldn't figure out.
I just got him square and just knocked him right down. It was pretty impressive. Right. Jamal Charles is hard to bring down in space, so this was a good move. I just don't know, like when the offensive line is that bad, and you constantly have guys not going unblocked, but just sort of touch and then go.
Yeah.
All the timing is wrong. The play calling has to change. I just don't know what you can take from that. And so maybe we don't know. Like maybe the offensive line will struggle in the regular season, but those two guys, Faneka and Larry, we'll just call him Larry. They're not going to play in the regular season, and if they are playing in the regular season, we got bigger problems.
Yeah.
So I just thought and the other takeaway I had, let's go positive, was the defense was terrific. I thought the defense, and I think we expect that. They were second in the league in points surrendered last year. That was without Derek Johnson, without Mike DeVito, without Eric Berry for the last 2 months or whatever. So I do think the defense is legitimately good, but I just don't know what we can make offensively. What'd you see?
Well, just in the sort of combination of the first two games, same kind of thing you're seeing. I mean, I do think we have every reason to think the defense will be really good. And I thought often enough last season about all the guys they lost, especially the guys they lost the first game with Derek and Mike DeVito. So I think that's going to work. But I do think here we are, we're at this time where we now feel like we should expect that they can do some more dazzling things on offense. They've gotten what should be quite a boost with Jeremy Maclin. This should make Alex Smith more complete. But you can't do it if you don't have the line. And so I guess it's so choppy right now, we just don't know what we're going to get going into the regular season from that unit. I guess they'll be healthy by the Houston opener, I guess.
That's the plan. I mean, and you've got, 3 more weeks to do that. But it stinks for the Chiefs' purposes that they're not able, that week 1 offensive line will not have played together, in the preseason. And that just stinks for them. Especially when you're breaking in a new receiver and all those other things. I just think that it's not a huge deal. I mean, we're talking about the, practice games, basically. It's not a huge deal, but it's certainly less than ideal.
Yeah, no, that's right. And just an aside, with football in the air, I got to go to a Staley High game the other night against Blue Springs, and it's the first high school game I've been to in years, and I certainly didn't forget that feeling, but I just wanted to ask you, when it's been a couple years probably since you've gotten to go, but how much does it take you back to when you were playing high school football, and what do you remember about that time of your life? I mean, it's maybe a funny thing to be asking you about on this, but it just seems to me, as I was watching it the other night, man, you got it made, or you feel like you got it made, then even as you're trying to figure out who you are.
It's a really cool, just everything about high school football I think is a really cool deal. That, the students are all worried about who they're sitting next to in the game, and the band's out there. It's a really cool thing. We happen to live. Me and my wife happen to live like probably 2 blocks from a high school, and on Friday nights, 6 times a fall, 5 times a fall, whatever, you hear, the PA announcer and the cheers, and it's a really, everything's when you're in, here's a weird thing about it, right? Like when you're in high school, nothing is simple. Like it's the most complicated time of your life for 1,000 different reasons in a lot of ways. But looking back on it, you're like, oh my, it was so simple back then before everything got complicated. It's a really good deal. And I was glad too, the game that you went to, you know, when I was reading it, and I know that wasn't what your story was about at all. It was a very cool story. If you ever read it, like, you need to check it out. But those two schools playing each other, I was like, Fred Bouchard and Kelly Donahoe are the two coaches, and they really were two of my favorites.
Thanks for joining us on this all football huddle. Check us out this weekend. We'll have our special section with all things Chiefs, Mizzou, K-State, Kansas, and national and high school sports in our special section, Sunday the 30th. And as always, stay with us in the Star itself at kansascity.com. Red Zone Extra app, True Blue app, and Extra Time app. Thanks a lot. Hope you can keep track of all that. We're going to keep coming at you.